Alright, welcome back for another episode of Trailer Trash Talk's Hurricane League Fantasy Talk. I'm going to go ahead now actually make sure that microphone is on. And it is, because that would have been disappointing. Alright. So as you can see, this is not Justin. Blake is joining me here today. So what we're going to do is quickly look back at week 4 before we go on to the week 5 previews. But before all of that, how have you been, Blake?
I've been pretty good. How about yourself?
I've been great. Blake has been good. I've been good. Week 4 was a kind of weird week in our league. We had 5 teams with what I would consider a last responders-esque type week, which is, of course, scoring 113 or less points. I guess you would really say 4 teams, because one of those teams did score 113 and 1, and that's very un-last responders-esque, that being Morgan, of course, with the upset victory over Jordan, his first of the season. Loss for Jordan, I mean.
Surprising sub-100 score from Jordan as well.
Yeah, let's jump right into that. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot from that when I saw to really even speak of. Jordan made the interesting Danny Diapers choice for his quarterback. I think helping his 94-point week. One thing I really like when I'm doing these videos is realizing that I can put in the audio underneath it, like the track music or whatever, because that really fills a dead air, dude. Like, it's great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was surprised by his Jones quarterback decision on that.
Speak up. Say it with your chest. No, I mean, it was a very interesting quarterback decision Jordan made. Yeah, so Daniel Jones with the whopping 10 points. It was that Josh Kelly failing again to live up to Austin Eckler with 9 points. Devontae Adams had a surprisingly human 15-point week. Keenan Allen had a 12-point outing after having, 40 plus, it seems like, all season to start. Jones only gave him 3 points out of the flex, but thankfully your boy was playing Tank Dell in his flex and also got 3 points. So that wasn't a killer for Jordan. Honestly, neither was the 10-point quarterback performance, because Morgan played Tua that gave him 14 points. Wow. And I mean, honestly, it was a pretty bad week. Very last responders-esque week for both teams, other than the fact that Morgan got a W. But no, I mean, single digits all over the place.
I get one to play Miami, but two as a quarterback decision.
Wait, no, it doesn't make sense whenever you put the draft capital that you did into Lamar Jackson, who then went off for 31 points. It didn't matter because he won, but still, that's
Jackson did bone him prior weeks, so.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you draft somebody that high, you pretty much have to play him.
I'll rant about Najee Harris.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was a mistake.
You did tell me.
I did. So look, real quick, we're gonna touch on the me and Brian game. Fucking blowout. I mean, it didn't really matter what I would have done. Brian put up almost 200 points thanks to 50 from Christian McCaffrey, 36 from Stephon Diggs. I mean, look, Stephon Diggs put up more points than all 3 of the receivers I had played combined. McCaffrey put up like 2 less points than my running back 1, running back 2, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, tight end, and flex combined. I mean, yeah, that's a good way to lose.
Yeah.
Second highest scorer on my team was my kicker with 18 points. That's impressive. A recipe for losing.
That was an impressive kicking score.
No, yeah, it's a damn good kicking game, but I mean,
Not gonna win it.
no.
How long until McCaffrey's out, though? You know, he usually goes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking you've got another good week or two out of him, and then probably midweek in Game 7 he goes out. That's my forecast. So hang on. I mean, enjoy it while it's there, Brian. But that may end up being your Achilles heel, you know. All right, next let's jump to you and Dusty. This is similar to the me and Brian game. You scored 180. Didn't really matter what Dusty did. I mean, he put up 108. He actually had a respectable game from Hurts, from Robinson, from Walker. Hill gave him a shockingly low score for Tyreek Hill. He was too busy beating children to put up a huge fantasy game. Evans only, -6 in the defense slot. That's a killer. But again, doesn't really matter. And then we have one of the most interesting games of the week. Justin and Mitchell. Mitchell seeking his first win of the season. Interesting fact, there has only been one team in our league history to start out the season 0-4 and make the playoffs. I don't know if that's true, but I'm pretty sure that's true. But Mitchell's not looking good right now.
Doubt it to be Mitchell.
Yeah.
He better start picking his jewelry out now.
Again, chasing that Cincinnati stack, got 18 points between his quarterback and wide receiver 1. A.J. Brown gave him a huge 40-point game, and sadly, the rest of his team combined for only 70, so it didn't matter. Justin managed 125 points and got his 4th win. He got single digits, less than a solid digit from his wide receiver 1, and wins the game. 125 points. I don't understand. But real quick on Mitchell's team, I do want to point out, in week 3 when he played me, I think we may have seen the ceiling for last responders. His team that week put up 142 points. He won the matchup at RB1, RB2, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. Flex was close, and he lost. I mean, I think that is the game plan he wants to follow, is winning those particular matchups in wide receiver 1 and 2 and RB1, keeping Flex close. He did all those things, still lost. It's looking bad for Mitchell. It's looking bad. You have any thoughts, concerns, comments on the week 4?
No, not really. I do want to touch on the Brian and Diggs situation. I feel like that usually happens to be my kryptonite, playing him with, you know, Josh Allen's being my quarterback and Diggs being his receiver. So that's why we always make an interesting matchup going head to head. But not worried about Brian. He'll still finish below me this season. So
Yeah, I mean, there's, like I said, the inevitable McCaffrey injury, and we just have to see how he bounces back from that. So then, week 5 matchups. See, the first one I want to look at is perhaps already decided in Justin and Jordan. This, I would have said last week, was going to be a clash of unbeaten teams before Morgan had that shocking upset victory. And I would have said this was going to be a close game. But here we are, Friday night, and Justin is projected to win by 49 points, which, hey, that happens to be the score he got from DJ Moore from the Thursday night game. The traditionally low-scoring Thursday night games, Justin got 49 points from DJ Moore, who I think last year totaled 49 fantasy points on the season. Like, what the fuck, dude?
interesting turn of events there.
I don't understand. I mean, I told him to his face, I said, I promise you, Raheem Mostert's not giving you another 50-point game. Puka Nacua is not going to catch 17 passes again. James Conner's probably not going to give you another 30-point game. All those things have come true, and he's still getting these weird 40, 50-point. I don't understand. Like, he's normally strong in the first part of the season, but this is getting out of hand. I mean, it truly is.
Interestingly impressive is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you can't knock him. He is undefeated, but I mean, dude, 2 of the wins, 100 points and 125 points. Like,
yeah.
I look, can't take anything away from you, Justin. You are 4-0, but it's the weakest 4-0 I've ever seen. Even for this league, it's the weakest 4-0 I've ever seen.
As Justin would say, a win is a win.
Yeah,
so.
Justin would say, fucker.
Don't care how he got there, as long as he finished strong. Wouldn't really call it strong, but on top. How about that?
So let's see. Next one we'll take a look at is Brian and Mitchell.
Mitchell's favored in this one.
Well, Mitchell's favored because Amon-Ra St. Brown is doubtful, so they're probably showing him at 0 points this week. I saw that earlier, and that was my assumption. I didn't look at it. Stupid, you can't just fucking quit the team. Yeah, so they're showing St. Brown for 0 points. So he's going to move Ayuk to his wide receiver 2, and then put probably Jonathan Taylor. He's probably going to roll the dice on Jonathan Taylor since it looks like he's going to play, since that was his Lanyap pick. I mean, I've been getting more and more pissed off the last couple of days whenever I realize that Jonathan Taylor is indeed going to play this year. And I think after a certain point in the draft, I forgot he was still up there. And Brian got him in like with the 8th or 10th round or something ridiculous like that. But
I think there was a lot of us still pretty aware he was there, and nobody was willing to take the risk. And at that point, Brian was like,
I was definitely that way through the first several rounds, and I think because of the way the sheets were, like, I think he got lost in my pencil marks. But yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, if he comes back and he's back to like form from 2 years ago, then Brian will have a good replacement for McCaffrey.
If not, he's gonna have a strong running back duo for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't see any possibility that they both are playing football at the end of the season. You know, let's see what else we have here. Mitchell is again still looking for his first win, playing yet another quarterback this week. Can I point out he has 3 fucking quarterbacks on his roster right now? 3. And I know
this is the second time we've seen this season.
Yeah, well, he would have had 4, but he literally just cut Aaron Rodgers off of his IR. I don't know if you remember. Rodgers tore his Achilles
yep.
week 1. This is week 4. Rodgers isn't coming back this year, but he's kept him on his IR this whole time.
Yeah, I would have
baffling.
quick.
Same thing with Nick Chubb. Did you see Nick Chubb break his knee off of his
yeah, he
body?
Ain't coming back this season. Ain't happening.
But no, so he picks Anthony Richardson up, which not like I wanted him, you know, because my quarterback's on bye, and I didn't think somebody that already had 2 quarterbacks on their team would possibly use their first overall draft or waiver priority on a quarterback. Like, what? I'm glad you're winless with this kind of decision making. I hope you lose this week too.
Looks like it's taking place from Morgan's playbook there.
Yeah.
Speaking of multiple positions on a team, though, I have to ask you, what was the deal with 3 defenses on your team?
Well, I had waiver priority and picked up the Kansas City defense because they were like the 2nd overall ranked that week, because I didn't think I was going to get blown out by 74 points. I thought it would be close enough where me hoarding that defense from Brian may swing the match. But yeah, 74 points didn't
so
equal
it was a
defense.
defensive tactic.
Yeah, because Brian ended up having to play the New England defense, which did not do well. So that it worked out in the way I wanted it to, that I hurt his defensive score.
But it didn't favor you.
I mean, I won the battle, I lost the war. That's how I see that. Yeah, no. So, do you have any thoughts? Who do you think is coming out here on Brian and Mitchell?
Uh,
Again, let's keep in mind that Brian's going to add 14 points to his projection, so they're going to be about dead even on the projection.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to lean Brian.
You have to lean
on
Brian,
this.
exactly. I mean, you have to lean Brian.
I mean, even if Mitchell had better numbers, I mean, having multiple quarterbacks on his roster.
If Mitchell had better numbers, he still has the same manager, and I think that's the problem.
I do think Brian has better management skills for sure. Yeah, I'm leaning Brian on that one.
And I also want to point out Mitchell is still trying to claw his way out of tight end purgatory. I believe this is his fourth, maybe, tight end he started this season after drafting the perennial stud Jawan Johnson in the preseason. Switched to, I think, the guy from New England and gave Pat Fryermuth a run, and it's probably Mitchell's fault that Fryermuth is now injured. And now he's rolling with Jake Ferguson, who has been a favorite target of Dak. My guess is that now Jake Ferguson's going to have his ACL blown out, though, because that's the kind of season that Mitchell is having the opposite season of Justin right now. I mean, that's really and truly what it looks like. But yeah, definitely have to lean Brian.
Yep.
I think Brian Mike could start St. Brown if St. Brown does not play the game and still come out on top.
Very, very possible.
So let's see, Morgan and Dusty now. This one also looks like it could be competitive. Robinson screwed Morgan over a little bit with 9 points. I mean, they stopped running the ball, though, like really early. He got 10 yards early, and then that was it. He's got a tough matchup with his wide receiver 1 with CeeDee Lamb in San Francisco. He's got a lot of good matchups, though, on his side. And then Dusty, got Bijan Robinson, who is going to do well. And then he's playing the opposite side of the running game, too, in Dameon Pierce with Houston. Tyreek Hill playing the Giants. That should be an easy 40 to 50 piece. Devontae Smith at the Rams. I think Dusty's probably going to get it.
I'm leaning Dusty on this one as well.
Yeah, I think Dusty's probably going to take this one. It might be close, but Morgan's projected at 120. This might be another, I don't know, 95-point performance from him. And then the last one for this week is you and me. Now, I know you were spouting some nonsense before this started, but realistically, when we look at this, I mean, you got a nice bump from your tight end. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, your team does have some fairly tough matchups this week. I'm being forced to start Joshua Dobbs because Mitchell is a selfish prick. So I would have liked more to have had Anthony Richardson, but and Tony Pollard is at San Francisco. I don't love that matchup either. Honestly, I don't love the Olave at New England matchup either.
I was just looking at that.
But New England has not quite been New England this year, and Olave at some point is going to have a good game. He can't possibly put another 1.6 performance up. I mean, that's not realistic. But, yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm going to easily take this one. They have you projected for 17 somehow. I think they're giving you a little bit of pity there, trying to walk you back off the cliff after your sour start and you kind of rebounded a little. Your season starts next week. We're going to see how you pick up the pieces.
I think my team's starting to finally come together. I have a pretty solid lineup. You know, I was lacking in the tight end department. Hopefully I can see some consistency out of this newest edition.
I would not count on Cole Kmet or any member of the Chicago Bears offense for consistency.
That's the only
piece
thing
of advice from a friend.
Chicago, but like out of the pool that's out there, he's the best option. You know, he is third in his position.
If I'm being honest, the thing that pisses me off about your lineup is that Kyron Williams there and your RB2. That's possibly the very best. That and Puka Nacua are tied for the best waiver wire pickup so far this year easily. I mean, those two are outstanding.
I'm concerned in the defense department there, so.
Nah, your defense is going to be fine. Dallas is shit. I mean, they're being pumped up as a Super Bowl team, but I think in all likelihood they at worst give you like 12 points. I just don't see Dallas coming in there and steamrolling them.
Yeah, I think the projection is lower than that though.
I'm sure it's like not.
Yeah, it's like 4.8.
Oh, what?
Yeah, they saying they're gonna have a tough matchup
That's
against Cowboys.
ridiculous. I mean, Cowboys have put up numbers, but the Cowboys have also played the Giants, the Jets, the Cardinals, and then the Patriots. If we're being real, those are all shitty teams this year. I mean, 3 of them are in the race to get the first overall pick, so I'm not sure that I'm really buying into it. But like I said, on my team, Waddle is going to have this is going to be his breakout week. I mean, he's going to end up with like 12 catches this week.
Oh.
Probably a touchdown, but at least 12 catches this week. Olave is going to have a solid game, and Ridley is going to outperform Madison and have a multi-touchdown game. He's going to shake off that nasty start he had after the solid Week 1 performance.
Speaking of shake off, what you gonna do if your boy Travis Kelce there when he finally decides to get
nice
dumped?
tie-in there. Nice tie-in. Well, I think when he does get dumped, it's actually going to improve his performance. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I wish we could speed up this 14-month process to like 3 weeks. But yeah, at the same time, I like seeing Taylor Swift on the game. So I mean, let's.
Well, I mean, look, just statistically speaking, Taylor Swift's rap and previous exes has not fared well for the
What are you
exes.
saying? She's like a Kardashian?
I wouldn't compare her to them, but
Well,
there's
actually,
some-
what happened to the werewolf boy after he broke up with her? I don't think I've seen or heard a thing from him. The vampire kid got cast as Batman somehow, but I don't see the werewolf boy anymore.
yeah. So you think Kelsey's gonna get swifted or what?
Oh yeah. No, I mean he's definitely gonna. Yeah, she's gonna break up with him at some point, but I mean I don't think he's gonna have that downward spiral. No, I think it's gonna improve his performance because Coach always says you don't have sex before the game, and he's clearly having sex before the game. So, no, but I mean, realistically, Kelsey's been kind of a disappointment, I feel like, so far this year. He missed the first week and it started off slow compared to his standards.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of disappointments when you look at the first couple of rounds of the draft as far as the expectations and what they've actually panned out so far.
Yeah. For a lot of teams in this league.
Oh yeah, I wasn't just talking about me, asshole.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, Najee Harris.
yeah, Najee Harris.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even say like
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. That's exactly what I was about to say. No, but I mean, there's been quite a few of them. Patrick Mahomes, honestly, I mean, as high as he went. Let's see.
So, who's
Oh, clearly I'm my pick in this one.
Well, yeah, and I'm gonna be my
quarter
pick.
century or so.
So, who's the game of the week?
The game of the week, I really think, is going to be Mitchell and Bryan, because once Bryan replaces his inactive player, they're going to be projected about dead even, and Mitchell desperately wants something in the win column there, and it's up to Bryan to keep that from happening. Speaking of poor records, let's jump into the shit pie segment. Now, Blake last night was able to attend a meeting for the board because Roosevelt had a international conference to attend. So he got to see the process that this goes through and the unrivaled fairness and balancedness that happens here.
There's a lot that goes into it.
There is a lot that goes into it. So shockingly, since the last segment we had of this, Morgan is not the overwhelming favorite to get a new hole in his naval region. He's tied for the largest piece to get a hole in his naval region with Mitchell. And realistically, I mean, there was a lot of argument that Mitchell should have the largest piece, but an overwhelming majority of the board felt that Morgan's naivety in this league may lead to some stumbles down the road, like him almost being trade raped by Mitchell for a high caliber draft pick. Who is he even trying to? Marquise Brown, somebody that's never sniffed his lineup, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. But look, even if it was completely fair, it's probably not going through Morgan, like ever, because I think Brian and Mitchell ruined that for the rest of us through their trickery and trying to run feeder teams through their peoples, And honestly, I changed it to where, 4 votes required. So I don't think there's ever going to be a trade that doesn't get 4 votes to veto it. You're going to have to grease so many wheels and then just hope that the people in this league that are already lacking some morals, perhaps, some integrity, they're going to hold true to their word.
In this league, no way.
Yeah, I mean, like Brian said the other day, you're counting on a hurricane or some mass extinction event for a trade to go through. But yeah, Mitchell and Morgan coming in at 25% each. Next we have, and look, this was another tough one. There was some tenseness going on here. Justin has one advocate in this board that was very adamant he be smallest piece of the pie, like non-existent. And there are valid arguments. He is 4-0. At some point, the math is going to start to math, even if it shouldn't in this case, but it's going to. But right now, there's still, we feel like, a better chance than not that his season goes sideways. Let's see.
So you're saying Justin's season going sideways?
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a good chance that his season, he's 4-0 right now. What do we have? See how many games in the regular season? 14 now. So I think there's still a chance he ends up 6-8, somewhere in that area, because we know he struggles in the latter half of the season.
Absolutely.
But no, I mean, he should take a lot of pride in the fact that he's gone from being the second largest slice in the eyes of the board to the third largest slice, but considerably less, Next, we have a couple of evenly sliced pieces between Jordan and Dusty. Dusty, just because of his track record, he's going to keep a relatively modest 10% slice. Jordan had a very solid start, as we all know. There started to be maybe some chinks in the armor lately. I think he had the low score last week. I think he had 94. Yeah, he lost to Morgan, as discussed earlier, with 94 points last week. This week he's projected, I think it said, for 120 or 120 something, but he's playing Justin, who's got some early season godlike powers right now. So Jordan's looking at 2 losses in a row. Was it an early season mirage? I mean, that's certainly what we thought about Justin, and that's what some of us still think about Justin, that it's fugazi, but, Jordan, what's up,
I think it's going to come down to management to bringing his average up. We'll see.
I mean, he does have the excuse of dealing with some injuries, although at this point in this weird season, who doesn't? But no, I mean, he started off really strong. I mean, I think Aaron Jones, his running back game is weak. That's what it looks like to me. I'd be concerned about his running back game. Cincinnati as a whole is garbage. Mixon gave him 10 points last week. He could be looking at something similar to that going forward until, if and when Joe Burrow gets fixed. Aaron Jones is also on a not great offensive team.
Aaron Jones has been on a decline since last year.
Well, I mean, he's been injured a lot, to be fair. He's injured right now. He was injured last week. But yeah, I mean, by running back standards, he's probably on the wrong side of 25. Devontae Adams is injured and has somebody not great at quarterback. I don't know if it's the Aiden guy. He had a rookie last year, last week, making his first start throwing to him, which is part of his poor score. Jordan starting Michael Pittman Jr. this week. That's interesting. And DeAndre Hopkins. Oh,
I thought I called that as a bad pick from draft.
yeah, I mean Hopkins. Oh, Jordan really doesn't have any options. He has a lot of people on bye. Jesus.
Ooh.
4 people on bye. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I guess he's going to go ahead and take this L. But I mean, that's half of his team that has their bye week this week, so he may not have another terrible week for the rest of the season since he doesn't have but 3 more byes to worry about. So yeah, that's why we're sticking him with 10%, despite his record that is perhaps better than the next 3. The next 3 being you, me, and Brian, each sharing an even, fairly hefty 5% slice of the pie. Now again, I know Jordan and Justin actually both have a better record than we do, but a lot of people think that the Justin and Jordan thing is false. I mean, it's just not going to continue. I hope it's not going to continue. I mean, there's no way. But yeah, I mean, I think we each have solid teams. We each have run into a bugaboo here or there. But through management, you know, we've fared well so far. So I think the 3 of us are probably playoff bound. I think the playoffs at the end of the season is probably going to be us 3, and I think it's a 50-50 shot between Justin and Jordan filling that 4th spot.
Yeah, definitely some contenders in the middle of the road. We'll see what the rest of Justin's season brings him. And Dusty always has a really difficult team.
Yeah, no, he normally does.
It just depends on who he ends up playing or how he does throughout the rest of the season. But he usually has higher averages.
Well, you know what? Dusty's struggle is going to be that he's got a quarterback, RB1, and wide receiver 1 that are absolute locks, and they're going to give you points every week. After that, virtually everybody is somewhat like matchup dependent. Pitts has not done anything this year. I mean, that's looking like a bad pick. Now, I mean, and Evans is... I feel like Evans has actually had a better year than what... I mean, he's wide receiver 9, so...
Yeah, he's actually had...
Other than the game he got injured, I guess New Orleans is where he got hurt, but yeah, he's been double digits, you know.
He surprised me. I told Dusty during the draft that was a questionable pick, you know.
But even then, he took him 75th, so that's what, like the 9th round? I mean, that's a solid 9th round, 9th overall and wide receiver. I mean,
yeah,
it's definitely paid off so far. This one is another one that fucking kills me. Morgan picking up, I don't know, Devon, a chain. 5th overall running back because he was part of that huge, you know, molly-whopping of Denver.
He could be on a huge incline. I mean, and then Miami is playing the Giants.
Yeah, I was going to say he's got a stellar matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really got 2 in a row, and then they're going to struggle probably for 2 or 3. But no, that was a good pickup. Might end up rendering Justin's guy and Mostert just completely useless, which would be nice for the rest of the league to have a chance against Justin. That's a sentence that nobody ever thought we'd say. No, but I mean, now Dusty, like I said, he's got a shot. It just depends. I mean, week in and week out, some of these dudes could give him a dud, but he's got 3 dudes that worry you every week. And then since we have it pulled up, looking at Morgan's outlook, Morgan's got a solid QB. Morgan has
so he didn't make that change, I see.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, Morgan looks to be chasing last week's score leader every week in his lineup. That's what it looks like. Tua had the huge week, so he put Tua in last week. Tua scored 14, Lamar had 31 on his bench, so now Lamar's in for him.
Yeah, that'll get you. That'll catch
Yeah,
up with
I
you. You
mean-
have to watch an average and then start looking at the teams that they're
I
playing.
mean, don't
their
get me wrong.
matchups.
There's something to be said for consistency, but you're rarely going to see those huge games
Oh,
back
yeah.
to back.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, honestly, like he's just had some terrible luck with some early draft picks. Higgins, Kittle, White. That's like his, I don't know, like 3 of his top 6 or 7 round picks right there.
Kittle's been subpar this season.
Well, dude, Kittle's realistically been subpar for a couple of seasons. He'll have a great game here or there, but he hadn't been somebody you can count on week in, week out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a
Against the Giants.
good game against the Giants. But even then, look, Arizona's not much better than the Giants, or not any better, and he had 1.9.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand why he wanted to trade Kittle, but not going to happen. You're better off just cutting him, hoping Mitchell cuts a guy you want, and then trying to catch him on the waiver river, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, watch that waiver order.
but not really. I mean, that's Lamar Jackson is going to be great. Henry, I think, is. I mean, he's going to have some solid weeks, but I think he's probably going to be disappointing as a whole for the rest of the season. CD, again, is on a Dallas team that I just think is fucking suspect, dude. I mean, what is he? He's the 13th overall. You did not expect him to be the 13th overall receiver when you drafted him. You know, you were expecting for top 5, if not top 3. And then I will give him credit for making the Sam Laporta pickup and having the balls to play him over Kittle. You know, I mean, it's not easy to do to replace a tight end you spend high draft capital on. So,
Yeah.
kudos for that. You got anything else you want to?
Nope. I think that sums it about up. It's gonna be an interesting week.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
Now, I mean, like, so our game, the Bills are playing the Jags. I mean, I think that could be a surprisingly tough game for the Bills. I'm hoping it's not in some ways because
you got
I'm
the
playing the
defense.
Buffalo defense. But, I mean, I think the Jags could be surprisingly stout. I don't know, yeah, I'm glad to be off this week so I can actually watch some of these. R.I.P. Jordan season again. I mean, damn Justin. Yeah, and I've changed my mind. I want Brian. I totally want Brian to not fill Lamont St. Brown's spot. I think he can still get that win, and I want to see it. I want to see him have it.
show strength, Brian.
That's
show
right.
Strength.
Just lay your balls right on the table. Go for it, dude. But yeah, all right. Well, hopefully I get this posted before the week is over.
Yeah, hopefully before the game starts Sunday.
Yeah, well, I mean, that might be high hopes, but yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, yeah, thank you for joining us, Blake, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Good luck, and suck my dick. Did you watch the Batman with the vampire kid in
I
it?
did not.
Dude, I tell you what, the movie overall was actually pretty good. He was terrible as Batman, like, because he's scrawnier than he's probably like he's scrawny. He looks scrawnier than you, and he's less tall than you. And I'm not saying that to put but we're supposed to believe Batman is a dude that's dropping dudes in one punch.
That's
like,
a hard
left
role to
and
fill,
right.
just kind of like the Bonds, man. There's just been so many people that's filled that role
My
so
problem-
well in the past.
My problem, though, is that they insisted on having him take his shirt off while he's Bruce Wayne at one point in this movie for like a 10-minute stretch. And, dude, like, he could have worked out for a month leading up to it, and it would have been more believable. But I was kind of bought into the movie, and I was like, man, he's not horrible. And then that happened, and it's like, all right, there's no way he's doing what he did earlier to those grown men looking like he looks. There is zero muscle mass at all. Like Christian Bale when he played Batman was meatier, you know, like he looked like he could whoop somebody's ass.
Sounds like you were expecting like a Jason Momoa or Dwayne
No, I'm
Johnson
not.
physique.
Oh no, I'm not expecting that. But did you watch any of the movies where Ben Affleck played Batman?
Yeah.
He to me was a terrific Batman. Like I didn't think I was gonna feel that way going into him, but he was a terrific Batman. He wasn't ripped, but I believed it with him.
Mm-hmm.
They also had like exoskeleton shit, I think, on some of his shit that added into it. But no, the movie was really cool. It was like dark and gritty, but it had the little vampire boy that kind of ruined it for me, dude. Like.